Hello there, sistercation.net nation. I am here today to share with you a story about a Christmas miracle that happened with us. When was it, Santa?
It was November 22nd, 2009.
2009. My sister-in-law, Lee Twig, contacted me. I own a salon, Vision Salon, and we've done some really awesome things in the past. And she said, Melissa, there's a little boy that's in a needy family who has a brain tumor. And I said, well, what do you want me to do about it? She said, I don't know, but I know you'll do something. And so I said, okay. So I went back to my salon. My amazing clients, my coworkers, all started donating money. Our intention was to be able to provide Christmas for this family, and especially the little boy, and to also be able to provide a tombstone for his grave when he did pass. He was terminal. So my coworkers started donating all their tips. Our clients started donating more money. My amazing neighborhood in which I live has an incredible Halloween. And we have sometimes 1,000 kids or 1,000 families come through our neighborhood. And I used to make 50 quarts of chili, and every man, woman, and child that wanted a cup of chili could have it. But this particular year I chose to ask for donations for the chili. So we were really gaining ground with this, and everybody was getting behind it. Great fundraisers, and my little friend Dustin was going to have a wonderful Christmas because of friends and family and community. Then I was in Mobile, Alabama with my two sons, Will and Zane, and we were playing soccer. Well, we got a call from the hospice nurse, and she said, Melissa, he's not going to make it until Christmas. And so I again said, what am I supposed to do? And so I sent my boys to their soccer game with some other moms, and then I went straight to Toys R Us, and I took the money that my clients and neighbors had gathered, and I bought up all the SpongeBob stuff that I could find. I also bought family for his little brother, and I sat in the floor of Toys R Us in Mobile, Alabama, which was 5.5 hours from my home, and I wrapped the toys. Went back to the field, picked up my sons, and then I started heading home, and I called my lovely, lovely client, Brenda Paris, and her husband is this Santa's helper, Rick. And I said, Brenda, we're not going to make Christmas. Is there any way that we can get together this afternoon? Because this is going to happen. We've got to get moving. So the whole way home, I'm making phone calls to friends, and I'm stopping on the interstate, and I'm picking up food from my coworker and amazing friend, Davy Calhoun. You know, we're picking up food en route, and I'm fantasizing about how this is going to go down. And I'm so excited about the whole thing, and I'm so excited as well as a mom. I'm very excited that my boys are going to be part of this. They were at the time probably 6 and 8 or 8 and 10. And so we all met together in one place, and we caravanned over to the very modest home, and I wanted to go in first because I wanted to make sure that we set it up properly, and you just have all these things in your mind about how everything's going to go. And when I walked into the house, the hospice nurse shook her head, and she said, I'm sorry. She said, it is over. He's been unconscious now for the entire day, 8-10 hours. And she said, he's just not going to come around. So I walked back out the door, and I just was crying. And I said, it's over. It is over. And this Santa Claus officially said to me, not really, he never said it with his mouth, but he said, no, it's not. It is not over. And he came past me, and when he passed me, there was just a spirit, this air, this wind that was behind him, and it was cool wind, and he blew past me. My hair blew back, and we walked into this living room, and Santa Claus had these bells on him, and he walked in that room, and he was singing, "Do it for me."
Just ringing the bell,
The ho
announcing
ho.
the ho 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 Merry Christmas. It was just announcing Santa's arrival.
And then what happened after that, Rick?
Well, I'll go back to the start from my side of it. But as you said, Mrs. Claus is a client of Melissa's, and she had asked me several weeks before, could we do a visit close to Christmas? It was supposed to happen after Thanksgiving because they weren't sure Dustin was going to make it to Christmas. So, of course, I said Santa will be glad to do that. Well, the morning that Melissa's talking about, it was a Sunday morning, November 22nd. The wife and I had come out of church, just finished church, walking across the parking lot, and her phone rang. And of course, she answered it, and she looked at me and said, "Can you do Santa tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, I can," because I just so happened I didn't have anything scheduled that night. So she got off the phone and told me what the situation, that Melissa was in Mobile, soccer tournament and all. She'd gotten a call from the hospice nurse that they didn't think Dustin was going to make it to, I think it was actually supposed to be the next weekend, and they didn't think he was going to make it to that weekend to do it. So, of course, we went home, went about a routine day, waiting for Melissa to give us the call. Later on that night, she called, said, "Okay, everybody's going to meet at this particular location out, close to the home." So we all met there and got out and, spoke to each other and talked what we were going to do. And the original plan was for Melissa to go in, and they were going to get the little boy in another room. They had a fireplace in one particular room. They were going to get the little boy in another room, and then there was going to be a commotion in the fireplace, bells or whatever, and going to come back around. And Santa was going to be standing there, and we were going to give Dustin his Christmas. So, we all followed each other out to the house, and of course Melissa went in first, and we were all standing there, and she was just in there just a very short time, and then she come back out, and she was just crying. I mean, she said, we're too late. The hospice nurse says he's been unresponsive all day and hasn't taken his medicine or anything, and so we're too late. And I said, well, we've got stuff for the brothers and sisters. Let's go ahead and see what we can do to help them. So went in, and like she said, I went in, ringing the sleigh bells and announcing Santa's arrival. And first, I always tell everybody whenever I tell this story that this would have happened whether we had been there or not. But God allowed us to be part of that miracle that night, and I'm so thankful that He did allow us to be a small part of it. But His will would have been done that night whether we would have been there or not. But anyway, we went in, rung the bells, and little Dustin, he was sitting in his chair, kind of slumped down, covered in a blanket. He didn't have a shirt on, I remember. But his eyes just popped open. I mean, you can say it was the bells or whatever, but I say God spoke to him and said, "Dustin, someone's here to see you." And that's what woke him up. I just happened to be standing there ringing the bells. And there we were. So he woke up, and for the next 45 minutes, I guess, he was just as alert as anybody. We exchanged gifts, had a good time with it. But the coolest thing about it for me was somewhere during all this, just all of a sudden out of the blue, it was like a light bulb went off in little Dustin's head. He looks up to his mom and says, "Get Santa some milk and cookies." So they went and rounded up some milk and cookies for Santa. And of course Santa drank the milk and ate the cookies with Dustin. And anyway, we got through exchanging gifts, and at the end I asked if it would be okay if we prayed with Dustin. And of course we did, because we don't understand everything all the time, but we just asked for understanding in what was going on in Dustin's life, and just asked for comfort for the I think they were at the grandmother's house, if I'm not mistaken, for the grandmother and the mom and everyone involved in that situation. And it was well, my wife and I, when we left, it was kind of quiet in the car, and I told her, I said, we've just seen a Christmas miracle, and God allowed us to be part of it, because it was nothing that we did. It was just we happened to be there, and God used what small talent I may have to to give Dustin what he needed that year. And I tell everybody I'm so glad I was part of that, but it's fine if I'm never part of one again, because it's kind of heartbreaking, because little Dustin, he didn't make it to Christmas. I think he made it past the next weekend, but still didn't make it to Christmas.
Yes.
So, you know.
And then the not only did the family have a nice, well provisioned Christmas with beautiful food and toys and that kind of thing, and he also, SpongeBob was his very favorite thing, and so we had SpongeBob galore, that is for sure. And then we had enough money left over to buy clothing for the mother and father and the son, brothers at the funeral. And then our family actually, when I say our family, I say our community actually paid for a headstone as well. And that was because Wayne Bishop from Chapel Hill Funeral Home also gave the funeral to the family. So it's just a story. It's a story about Christmas. It's a story about caring. It's a story about community. And just when you think that there are no more miracles, or there's nothing else that's going to excite you or make things happen that are a little bit inexplicable, if you ask, these things will come to you. And we were just so fortunate to be a part of this, and it was so amazing to be in a community that stands behind and helps in these great times. And I'm going to challenge you to share this story with someone that maybe you have not spoken to in years. Maybe you'll share it with someone who is not going to have a good Christmas because they've lost someone in their past. And Christmas is not always happy for everybody, is it?
No,
not.
It's a stressful time, but
Yeah.
even if we're alone, we have to always remember that, God's always there for us. We may not see the plan, we may not understand the plan, but God has the plan for us. And if we would just wait on God and seek His direction in things, things can come out better. I mean, things can be better.
Yes.
We are always so busy trying to put our plan into place, then we ask God to bless it, instead of asking Him what His plan is, than us trying to do that.
Yes, it's such a good point. So we want to wish you a very, very, very Merry Christmas and a phenomenally Happy New Year. And Rick Paris, I am so happy to know you, and I am so happy to know your wife, Brenda. And I'm also sorry for everybody who doesn't know you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I appreciate that, but like I always say, I'm a nobody that wants everybody to know a somebody that I know. So,
It's a beautiful
Merry
thing.
Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, everybody.